Dito lang sa nag-iisang himpilan, Kool FM.
You're listening to Kool FM.
Number one sa Mega Manila.
Nationwide pa!
You are listening to Kool FM. Live from Kool Studios. This is koolNews at 11.
Good morning, listeners. It is now 11:18 a.m. We apologize for starting a little bit late since I just realized I accidentally fell asleep. Yeah. Anyways, let's begin with with the recap of the top of the headlines until 11:30. The police found on Wednesday some 112.5 million pesos in cash after breaking open 12 of the 14 safes of the process outsourcing company in Bataan that was raided last month for alleged human trafficking and illegal online gambling. Agents of the Criminal Investigation and Detection Group of the Philippine National Police opened the safes of Central Bataan, Philippine Incorporated 2 days after securing a second search warrant from Executive Judge Gildo Dumlao II of Manlotong City Regional Trial Court Branch 81. The first warrant was for the raid conducted on October 31 on the Central One complex, which consisted of several buildings inside a 2.7-hectare area in Central Park, Bagkak. A total of 57 foreign and 358 Filipino workers were present when teams from the CITG and the Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission with backups from the local police and military executed place. Central One has since denied PAOCC's allegations of human trafficking and illegal gaming, saying it was operating as a duly licensed BPO company and that no criminal, civil, or even regulatory complaint had been filed against it. On Wednesday, after the opening of the safes, a money lawyer maintained in a media interview that the money seized was for the employees' salaries and operational expenses. PAOCC, however, maintained that the company illegally operated as a POCO or a Philippine offshore gaming operator in the variants of the ban first announced by President Marcos in July. On November 8, Malacanang released Mr. Marcos' executive order detailing the scope of the ban. The Filipino employees were released after the raid, but 42 foreigners were placed under arrest and detained at the PAOCC facility in Pasay City. On November 7, PAOCC was compelled to free 41 of the 42 foreigners after receiving 2 release orders from the Bureau of Immigration signed by Commissioner Joel Antonio Viado, Legal Department Chief Alvin Escar Santos, and Special Prosecutor Raymond Nel Ganias. The 42nd foreigner and Indonesian remained in detention after it was discovered that he was wanted in his country for alleged money laundering, illegal online gambling, and scam operations. The BR order granted provisional liberty on recognizance to the 41 foreigners, ruling in favor of a petition filed on November 6 by the lawyer, Jerry Anin de la Cruz. In its order, the BI said de la Cruz and Bataan Representative Albert Garcia had separately executed deeds of undertaking as guarantors for the 41 foreigners. In the petition, the foreign nationals insisted that they had work permits and visas, were employed by a company licensed and regulated by the authority of the Freeport area of Bataan, and should not be considered flight risk. They also described themselves as indigents who could not afford to post bail. On November 12, Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin ordered Viato and Justice Secretary Jesus Crispin Remula to summarily deport the 42 foreigners and have them blacklisted to prevent re-entry. In a memo giving the order, Bersamin described Central One Bataan as an illegal offshore gaming operation, masquerading as a business process outsourcing company. But more than a week after Bersamin's order, the 41 foreigners either released on recognized license have yet to show up for the deportation process, the inquiry line from a source in PAOCC. They were supposed to present themselves at the Pasay facility on November 18. Photos and documents obtained by the inquirer, including a copy of a flight manifest, show that 6 of the 41 boarded a chartered private plane that took off from Clark Freeport for Cebu on November 8, a day after the BI ordered the release from PAOCC custody. A flight manifest showed the 6 to be Brazilian nationals and that they were joined in the flight by 2 other passengers with Chinese names. Asked about the flight, Undersecretary Gilbert Cruz, the PAOCC Executive Director, said the agency had also received such a report. He declined further comment. WS Fiato and Santos had yet to respond to an inquiry request for comment, which was crossed through Santos' office on November 13 and was formally acknowledged. On Tuesday, Cruz said PAOCC would monitor the implementation of Persame's deportation order and the case being prepared by the CIDG and the Department of Justice against Central One Bataan. In earlier media interviews, De La Cruz and Garcia also said they agreed to serve as the foreigners' guarantors because the workers did not violate any law and that Central One Bataan was a legitimate company. The Bureau of Corrections, or BUCOR, has transferred more than 300 inmates from the new Bilibid prison in Muntinlupa City to Sablayan Prison and Panaform in Occidental Mindoro as part of a plan to consolidate all those involved in drug-related cases into a single supermax facility. The NPP prisoners were transferred on Wednesday night on board 10 commercial buses. They were escorted by Bukar Special Weapons and Tactics Team, medical personnel, Muntinlupa police officers, as well as South Luzon Expressway and Star Toll Highway Patrol units, Bukar said. Just as Secretary Yesas Crispin Rubola earlier ordered the relocation of high-profile drug offenders to regional prison facilities, Ola reports they have been able to continue their illegal activities even while inside the National Penitentiary. Earlier this week, Bukor Director General Gorio Katapang Jr. also ordered a no-cell-phone policy inside all operating prisons and penal farms nationwide as part of heightened security protocols. The directive covers all commissioned and non-commissioned officers, civilian personnel, visitors, and other individuals entering the premises of the Bukor, MPP camps, and all OPBMs. Katapang said he had ordered the immediate procurement of two-way radios as an alternative mode of communication. According to Bukor, there will be regular and random inspections at all entry and exit points of the facilities and work areas of its personnel to prevent the smuggling of mobile phones. Any cellular phone or related device discovered shall immediately be confiscated and reported to appropriate authorities for proper documentation and disposition, it said. All personnel found to be involved in the unauthorized entry or use of cellular phones will also be subjected to administrative and criminal sanctions, Katapan warned. And let's get onto the international headlines. As Russian President Vladimir Putin said Thursday that the conflict in Ukraine had characteristics of a global war and did not rule out strikes on Western countries. The Kremlin strongman spoke out after a day of frayed nerves, with Russia test firing a new generation intimate range missile at Ukraine, which Putin hinted was capable of unleashing a nuclear payload. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky branded the strike a major ramping up of the scale and cruelty of the war by a greasy neighbor, while Kiev's main backer, the United States, said that Russia was to blame for escalating the conflict at every turn. Intermediate range missiles typically have a reach of up to 5,500 kilometers or 3,400 miles, enough to make good on Putin's threat of striking to us. In a defense address to the nation, Russia's president railed at Ukraine's allies screening permission for Kyiv to use Western supplied weapons to strike targets on Russian territory, warning of the brutalization. In recent days, Ukraine has fired US and UK supply missiles on Russian territory for the first time, escalating already sky-high tensions in the nearly 3-year-long conflict. We consider ourselves entitled to use our weapons against the military facilities of those countries to allow the weapons to be used against our facilities, Putin said. He said the US sent Army tactical missile system and British Storm Shadow payloads were shut down by Moscow's air defense, adding the goals that the enemy obviously said were not achieved. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov did, however, say Moscow informed Washington of the missile's launch half an hour before it was fired through an automatic nuclear de-escalation hotline, in remarks cited in state media. He earlier said Russia was doing everything to avoid an atomic conflict, having updated its nuclear doctrine this week. White House spokeswoman Catherine Jean-Pierre told reporters that Washington saw no need to modify the United States on nuclear posture in response. And the Palestinian Authority and military group Hamas both welcomed the International Criminal Court's ICC arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and his former defense minister over the Gaza war. The state apparently welcomed the decision to issue the warrants against Netanyahu and ex-defense minister Yoav Gallant, the Palestinian Authority said in a statement published by official news agency Wafa. The ICC said it had found reasonable grounds to believe Netanyahu and Gallant bore criminal responsibility for the war crime of starvation as a method of warfare, as well as the crimes against humanity of murder, persecution, and other inhuman acts. The ICC's decision represents hope and confidence in international law and its institutions, the Palestinian statement said, urging ICC member states to severe contact and meetings with Netanyahu and Gallant, who was sacked by the Israeli Prime Minister earlier this month. This statement from the Palestinian Authority, which has partial administrative control in the Israeli-occupied West Bank, did not make any mention of the warrant also issued Thursday for Hamas military chief Mohammad Deif over war crimes and crimes against humanity. Israel said it killed Deif in Gaza in July, but Hamas has not confirmed his death. The group, in its own statement about the ICC decision, similarly did not mention Deif. Hamas said the warrants for the Israeli leaders were an important step towards justice and can lead to redress for the victims in general, but it remains limited and symbolic if it is not supported by all means all countries around the world, the group's political bureau member Bassem Naim said. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now 11:29 a.m., 1 minute before 11:30, and that is it for koolNews at 11. As always, we will return for the latest news headlines at 12 noon for the continued news coverage. Until then, I am Caro, and this has been koolNews at 11. We will see you later for the latest news headlines at 11. Good morning.